So welcome everybody to the Quantum Healing Collective. This is a special Saturday morning meeting. Our primary purpose as a collective is to come together and create a community of like-minded, like-hearted individuals that inspire and encourage each other and support one another along our individual and collective journey towards personal transformation. Our focus does not rest upon what beliefs, habits, or behaviors have led us to this group, rather on the vision we hold for the future and how our growing collective can help support us in the achievement of our goals. We're not a religious group, nor do we follow a specific spiritual tradition. We respect and honor all forms of spiritual and personal growth so long as they cause no harm. We don't follow any specific literature at this time, and we're open to sharing the various methods of transformation that have worked for our members. Our group exists solely to support and inspire growth in both the individual and the collective. So thanks everybody for showing up. We have an amazing guest speaker today.
So it's a pleasure for me to be able to introduce our speaker today, who is a true mystic healer. She's an author, she's an artist, she's a producer. She's written many incredible books. The Divine Mother Speaks, The Healing of the Human Heart, Buddha Speaks, Shiva Speaks. I recommend you check out all these books. She's produced I, God, which is a fascinating movie that has incredible spiritual leaders that you all would recognize in it, like Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, Greg Braden. She has a fascinating history that she's basically gonna share a little bit about her message today, and more about who she is. And I'm really excited to introduce to you guys Rashmi, coming from India, New Delhi. So take it away, Rashmi. Just have to unmute. There you go.
Namaste. How are you, Carl? Wonderful to connect with you from New Earth, New Delhi, all the way to Boston.
Yes. Yeah, so do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and anything that you feel like sharing with us?
Anything that's particularly you're curious about? Because it's a, each is a book.
Yeah. Maybe just how to stay centered during these times and what we can be doing as individuals to best ground ourselves and heal ourselves.
Yeah, well, this is a time of great change, and all my 3 books cover this grand shift time after 26,000 years on the ecliptic, 20 and 13,000 year cycle. And so Atlantis fell because we reached very high frequencies, but then we misused the energies. And so now we're at the same place on the ecliptic. I think it's 13,000 years, ahead. And this time we're not going to sink, though it seems like we are at the moment. And it's just because all the darkness has to come out to purge. And whatever we're seeing on the world stage is what's happening within each and every one of us. And so, when we were born, we played the duality game of snakes and ladders. And we forgot who we are, which is all that is, an infinite beingness, as we all know. And now it's time to remember who we be, and to integrate the dark and the light within each and every one of us, because it also exists within us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Kristen, if you wanted to ask some questions too, that'd be awesome. But what are some practices that you do to kind of ground yourself?
So, grounding, I think most of the audience here knows how to ground. So to, walk bare feet on the ground, massage, grounding crystals like shungite and various crystals, and, spending time in nature and imagining yourself as a tree no matter where you are, and sending your roots down through the Earth Star chakra down to the very crystal iron core of Mother Earth. And then from your heart, connecting to all that is, which is heaven on earth in your heart. So, you know, dancing, massage, lying on the floor, walking bare feet, and just saying earth, earth, earth 3 times will also ground you. The breath is grounding, as we know. Sacred sound, you know, you can chant Om and send the energy down through the pranic tube to the very crystalline core of Mother Earth. So if this is your chin mudra, which means taking your 5 senses away from the outside world to the within, this is called chin mudra. And so it just helps you to take your senses within. And so we do the chin mudra and we chant Om. This is also the diameter of the pranic tube that connects all the chakras in a straight line. So the Kundalini energy is different, but this is just connecting all the chakras, and it's an etheric tube that's this sort of diameter. And so we send that tube from the root chakra down to the very crystalline core of Mother Earth, back to the heart, and then up through the crown chakra, through the soul star chakra, which is about, you know, about 12 inches above your head, and then up to the galactic center of source or beyond to source consciousness, whatever that might be for you. And it's just simple attention plus intention equals manifestation. So a lot of the powerful meditations around this are very simple, are explained in my book, The Divine Mother Speaks, The Healing of the Human Heart, which is energy mastery made simple, Egyptian school, mystery school made simple, and also about the keys and tools of how to heal the human heart now very quickly. And so it's just firing one's DNA encodings through reading, because it's activations behind the words that help one just remember who we are, which is all that is, and a much more expanded version. But as you rightly say, Kyle, it's so important to ground. So many spiritual people on the path are very, you know, space cadet-like. Now, some spiritual teachers are teaching to be hovering above the earth, and sometimes I hover, you know. But overall, it's important to be in our body and ground the heart energy into the body temple here now. And that's just a simple attention plus intention thing as well. And a nice big breath, or an Om, you know, and an earth, 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 even if you can't go out or whatever it is.
I'm really curious to know what led you into this journey. What caused you to seek this? Were you always spiritually inclined? Were you raised spiritually? What got you to be where you are?
Well, very quickly, you know, a lot of my radio shows are on my website, rashmikhilnani.com. The story is very large, but I was conceived by the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. And then I was born in India because my mother was vegetarian, so she used to go back to India for the babies. And I spent the first 6 years of my life in Egypt. And my mother said I used to sit in the balcony when I was your daughter's age and talk to a sky goddess in the sky, which was the goddess Hathor. And that's my first book, The Divine Mother Speaks, The Healing of the Human Heart, is channeling the goddess Hathor, who is the archetypal energy of, you know, beauty, harmony, tantra, and so many other things, and the sky and so on, of ancient Egypt. So, and then I lived in London, and so I was in the Muslim realm, and then I lived in London until I was 9, and I went into Sunday school and wanted to become a Christian. And then when I was 10, I got on a ship and came back to India, and I got introduced to all the gods and goddesses of India. And I didn't really understand the Indian spirituality that much, but it was in my blood, you know. And then when I was a bit older, I got married, and I had homes across the globe. I married a very rich man. And so at, you know, around 30, 32, I realized that everything that people call success normally that they reach at 60 or 50 or whatever, you know, to have a lot of money and to be a jet setter and to be, you know, having a rich life and so many homes and living in so many different countries, I realized that's not the be all and end all of life. So I went to a lecture with some disco friends in Bombay. I happened to be visiting Bombay, and the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita was explained to me, which says, I am not the field being the mind, body, and the intellect. I am the knower or the detached witness of the mind, body, and the intellect. And I could never understand the Bhagavad Gita and all these things, but then I got it. And so then I was in Dubai much later, and in London, and in Dubai I wanted to learn meditation. And I kept saying, may divine light pass in and through me for the blessing of mankind. Because I read a book by Dr. Paul Brunton, and I liked that. So I started saying it in sun gazing. And it was impossible at the time to find a meditation teacher in Dubai, but this creative director of Lintaz, an American man who happened to be a Buddhist, said, I'll teach you meditation. It changed my life. I then left my husband and my homes across the globe in the kingdom, just as the Buddha had. And my dream was to teach meditation in London. This is many years ago. I then went on to studying Reiki and reading the Celestine Prophecy, and then becoming a master of many systems of Reiki energy, and then rebirthing and sound wave energy and multiple modalities, and then teaching healers and people that were opening centers across the globe. And then the story goes on, you know. The story is quite a long one, but that was how I started. Does that sort of answer your question?
Perfect, perfect. I love it. That's amazing. What a journey.
Yeah, my dreams all came true. And then when I was sort of, I had to bring everything to zero again. So that's what we're all having to do. We're having to 0 point our attachments to everything. So I reached another level of 0 point several years later. And I was told by Mahavatar Babaji, who's not in a body, that through a numerologist Italian, that I would bring everything to zero for source. So I said everything, but not my boyfriend at the time, because he was spiritual and he supported my work, and also we were very grounded and in the world at the same time. So it was a perfect balance. But everything came to zero, including my health, because I came back home and I said, step it up and give it to me as strong and hard as I can have it. And then I manifested cancer 2 weeks later, which I think I took on to go into the hospitals and bring Reiki to the Royal Marsden Hospital, and to embrace the allopathic route of being cut as Mother Earth is being cut, radiated as we radiate in Mother Earth, chemotherapy, operations, all these different things. Even though as a holistic teacher, that's not what I wanted to do, to show transmutation. So we can transmute anything. And that's what happened. And barely did I recover from 9 months of the chemo phase, and I hardly looked ill, that I was told that I will go to America and create a film, bringing all the spiritual leaders and the people of the street in a film to show unity consciousness, you know, beyond I'm a Buddhist and I'm a Hindu and I'm a pagan or I'm a vegan, or, you know, all these different things. And I couldn't believe it because I didn't know anybody, but then it all happened. And in the last days of selling my temple, where I taught healers from all over the world, that opened centers all over the world, it was just a little studio that I had, but it was very special. I sold that to go and do the missions. And I met the right people, and I met Neil Donald Walsh, and I made the film. I paid for it, even though they were all much richer than me. I was the angel seed investor. And then in those last days, the Divine Mother Speaks, the healing of the human heart got channeled in 21 sessions.
That's incredible. So this group, as you know, Rashmi, we're like a heart-focused group. So the beginning of each meeting, we go into our heart to elevate our vibration. So could you speak a little bit more on the Divine Mother Speaks, the healing of the human heart, and what that kind of means to you, the healing of the human heart?
So, I do recommend the book to everybody because, we can't cover everything in one show. But basically, healing is feeling, as we all know. And it's not about making a 365-day hit of our feelings, Broadway hit of our feelings, but it's just about feeling it, allowing it, moving through it, and then coming out the other side, whether that's or that's anger, dancing it out, painting it out, writing it out, shouting it out in nature where you're not harming yourself or somebody else. That's really important now. At the moment, what's happening is a lot of grief is coming up in everybody. This is the grief of many, many lifetimes, and the cellular memory release all has to happen. But it's happening so fast, everything is so quick now. So it's quantum, as we all know. So, just allow it, allowing, flowing, surrendering, accepting is just a total key. And your meditation was so beautiful, which is, about gratitude. So the great currency of the now moment is gratitude. That opens the heart. Acceptance, that heals the heart. You know, and service to self and then to others, as you said, through that breath. And the breath is so important. So, you know, I met Leonard Orr, who's the father of rebirthing, and which is modern Kriya Yoga. I was initiated into Kriya Yoga, and I became his healer across the globe. And so many things happened. And then I wrote the book, Shiva Speaks, Conversations with Mahavatar Babaji, because, you know, this Shiva means it's archetypal energy. What it means is the destruction of the lower octave for the creation of the higher octave. So now we are integrating our human heart with our high heart, which is up here, you know, here. So that's happening. And the DNA is firing of its own accord. Ascension is happening of its own accord. We don't have to effort at it. We don't have to do a gazillion courses with it. But all these keys and simple things like breathing and grounding and giving and receiving and loving and allowing and healing our wounded child within is a very important part as well. And we can cover specifics in other shows where we can go into child, you know, divine child and wounded child stuff and various things. But there are a gazillion tools, and so all this is condensed in a very simple book that's a handbook that people keep by their bedside, and you just dip into a part and then you connect to those frequencies of heart energy, you know, just putting your hand on your heart several times a day and taking a few moments to go within, because everybody is very mesmerized with what's happening on the outside, and disclosure is going to happen now more and more and more. Everything that is hidden has to come up to be healed within us and outside of us. So even if we disagree with others, we can still be respectful. And, you know, we will initially be shocked with everything that comes up as the truth within ourselves and outside of ourselves. But it's all about forgiveness and allowing and understanding it's all one energy, and that the dark has played a role for the light, whether it's within us or outside of us. We chose this duality, polarity experiment. So, you know, how do we integrate the polarities? So how would you integrate polarities there?
How would I integrate them?
Yeah.
So I try to,
you know, love, fear, heat, cold, I like, I don't like. How would you integrate, you know, to come to that fulcrum point in the center, that still point, that peace, without denying your feelings and being, you know, like, yeah.
Yeah, personally, I try to like understand each of my lower emotions when they come up. So I try to allow it, accept it, but then learn from it. And then I try to celebrate my higher emotions. So I try to, like, when I'm feeling grateful, I try to really enjoy that moment. And when I'm not feeling the best, I try to learn from it and ask myself, why is this happening? Where is this coming from? And know that it's okay, but just try to really not just let it sift by without learning from it. And then trying not to let it take me over as well. But, you know, that's just kind of what I do, you know.
So whenever we meditate, we are integrating polarity. When we chant Om or any sacred sound like Hu or Ah or sacred signatures, sound signatures are covered in the Divine Mother Speaks. So sound is a very powerful way. First, make the sound of disease, like you know, you know, scan your body, see where is the disease, where is the lack, where is the fear of not having money, and then make that sound in a safe space, and then make the sound of ease or make the sound of abundance. Become a hollow flute and let that sound make you. Don't think about what should it be, is it right or wrong, and then make that sound, or just make the sound Om, and you'll immediately come to the center point, because Om is the primordial sound of the universe. Right? The breath will, you know, conscious connected breathing, which is rebirthing, or any form of breathing, you know, fire breathing, shamanic breathing, any kind of breathing, just normal, so many counts in, so many counts up, or breathing in and out of the mouth, which helps to heal the emotional and spiritual bodies. But breathing in and out of the nose is more in rebirthing, covering the mental and physical bodies. This brings us to the fulcrum point, the center, you know, being present, practicing being present here now. This is just really, really important. And so, people get really involved in different methodology, but it's not about methodology. Whatever works for you. Nature is the ultimate healer right now for every single one of us. Getting into nature and being quiet and switching off the gizmos from time to time, and really being playful with everything. So if we need to get angry, getting angry, but then ultimately, not pointing the finger that the darkness is outside of ourselves. It exists in all of us. We allowed all this to happen, or it wouldn't be happening in our hologram, right? We can change it, but we can't change it by denying it. We can't change it by bashing it. We can't change it by writing about it. Now, if somebody's writing, let's not judge them. The point is, what are we, each of us, doing, right? So it's not about being quiet. Sometimes we need to speak, and it's about not harming ourselves and others, and getting away from the blame shame game. So the greatest wound, what is the greatest wound of humanity, collective and individually? How?
The greatest wound of humanity. Probably disconnection from spirit, maybe.
Yes, exactly. So that abandonment that occurs when we are born and the umbilical cord gets cut, it's not just from the mother, but we are coming into this realm, this dense realm. We are the bravest of brave who have chosen to come here. Is all of this helpful, what I'm covering?
Oh, 100%.
So we are the bravest of the brave. So let's love ourselves. Let's forgive ourselves. Let's embrace ourselves for reaching this far in the journey. If you've made it to this journey, if everybody that is alive now has reached the ascension line. Some of us pioneers have given up everything and done so much and gone through so much hell for so many years, not as martyrs, because we chose to do this to make it easier for the next wave and the next wave and the next wave. But now all 7 billion have reached the ascension line. Now each still has the choice of where they want to go. And not everybody can be forced into going to heaven on earth frequency and the fifth dimension frequency, which is beyond time and space. So time and space is already collapsed as of 2012. But each one makes a decision whether to continue the polarity duality game. And time is just a huge, huge thing. Each thing I'm mentioning is like a whole 20 hours, but time is the greatest cause of suffering on the planet. So, if you can just realize that we have plenty, people say time is money. No, it's not. It's a man-made construct. So we are eternal. And once we realize that, you get a deep sense of peace, and that there's no race, there's no, or that you are physical immortal and nobody can kill you because death is just transition, So all that gives us back our sovereignty, and our sovereignty is very important now. That doesn't mean being better than anybody, everybody's equal, but it means that you don't give your power away to any spiritual teacher, to anybody, to any political figure, to any celebrity. And that's what humans are going to learn very fast in the days to come, as every one of their celebrities and so-called, because the reality is inverted. It has to come right side up.
That was really my next question, is what do you see, what's your perspective on all of this? Do you see this as a vital aspect of the Great Awakening, of people coming into higher consciousness by exposing the darkness to light? I'm interested to know what your perspective is.
Yeah, so I just was covering all of that right now, right? So yeah, there's no way that we are going to go through the eye of the needle unless we become as an innocent child. Be ye as an innocent child to go through the eye of the needle, right? Darling? So to do that, we have all been the murderer, the rapist, the this, the that, and the other, in some shape or form, in some dimension or whatever. The whole of the astral realm is now collapsing. That means all that illusion of darkness is collapsing around Earth. That means all the negative thought forms of all time, which is the lower astral realm, is collapsing. And it's collapsing within the DNA as well, because we are in the photonic band. Protons, neutrons, and photons. And so that is pure light. So when you shine super amount of light, you're going to see every dark speck, right? If you clean that mirror, every little bit of dust you're going to be able to see. So, 3D matrix has collapsed. Now, the prison door is wide open, and that door is the door of realizing time doesn't really exist except in 3D. Now, some of us are bridging 3D and 5D. We're multidimensional, so that's okay. You know, if I've said I'm going to be on the show at an X time, I can be. But you see, once we realize we're unlimited, energy is free, we live on, we are physical immortal beings, and that, you know, we've created this nightmare, and now let us take responsibility. Collectively, we've done this, right? And then we can create the new very quickly. And instead of bashing what's collapsing and crying over it, let's start creating new earth. And that happens within each and every one of us through being, allowing, sharing, loving, childlikeness, playfulness, nature, and creating community, true community, starting with communion itself. Does that help? Does that answer a little bit the question?
So it seems like the one of the most important things we can do every day is just like really ground ourselves and just like bring our energy back. And I like what you said. You're like simplifying everything with the Om. So is that kind of how you start each of your meditations, with an Om, and then you go into like silence for a while and just kind of see what comes through?
Well, you know, everybody is different, but basically you reach a point where everything becomes meditation, which means presence. Does that mean I sometimes don't get triggered? Yes, I do. Does that mean I'm not also human? Yes, I am. Because for me, and I don't know for you, heaven on earth means this is the first time we're learning to be fully human and fully divine at the same time. So I'm a goddess, but I'm also very human. Sometimes I get mad, and sometimes I cry, and sometimes I get very scared. The difference is it doesn't last long, you know, and I'm immediately going back into the playful nature, you know, and I don't hold grudges and resentment. And I understand that the other is me, and that I've got to start by clearing my own stuff and not blaming and shaming, and not blaming and shaming myself as well. And as and when I make mistakes, that's how we learn, right? So, you know, what's really bothering you right now? What is it in your life where you're stuck? Because it does, you know, I spend a lot of time alone. I spend a lot of time not going blah, blah, blah. You know, I love to be in nature. I love to be with self, and I love to serve. I love to share my food. I love to play. But it's not, but if none of that is possible, then there's music and all the rest of it, right? But I don't care what people think about me, and I don't care about pleasing anybody. But on the other hand, if someone sincerely comes to me, rich, poor, or whatever, whoever, then I will usually not say I'm busy if my guidance is to be there for that person. But if I get a sense that that person is wanting my attention because they want to flirt with me and they're talking about healing, or they want to, you know, project their anger on me because they're talking about, so if I get guided not to, then no. But otherwise, I normally I'm available, you know, or I will guide people, or through my Facebook posts, or through, you know, putting them onto the books, or doing non-stop radio shows, etc. when I'm guided. And so as we each serve each other, then the whole money game is over as well. You know, my focus is now on morphogenic healing and sending energy for the planet, sending energy for the well-being of all, sending heart energy to all, just silently, all, you know, sending that expansive energy of India to all, sending the sunshine to all, and really seeing heaven on earth and being heaven on earth as best as I can in my own life. So, you know, as we just really share of what we have, then we're going to heal very fast. And America is going to be an epicenter for all of this. So it's where the greatest darkness has reached, but it's also where the light flips very fast, because there's a lot of light there too. And people are so willing and eager and learn very fast as well, because they're childlike and they're interested to learn, you know, because it's a newer place. So, in your life, what is bothering you right now? What's stuck?
I think there's some parts of my like job that I have to do that I just don't really enjoy. Yeah. So I could.
In this lockdown, are you having to work?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, there's some parts of it that I don't enjoy.
But in your healing, in an internal healing journey, or your spiritual path, where do you feel that the challenge is? Is it fear? Is it
Yeah,
anger?
I'd
Is
say
it
it's
lack?
worry. Worry is the emotion that gets me the most.
Yeah. So what is worry? Worry is fear, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Stress. So everybody on the show, stress is fear, worry is fear, and so, you know, instead of saying I am fearful, you just say fear is present.
Mm.
Fear is present, and then once you acknowledge it, then that's what. If I pretend the pimple is not on my nose, then maybe I can't heal it, and it's bothering me, right? For example. So, but if I say yes, I acknowledge it. Yes, it's there. Then that's half the healing has happened right there,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And then it may go away. But if it still persists, then there's all the techniques such as breathing and talk to the fear, asking it, finding out which part of your wounded inner child, the child that was fearful, is coming up now.
Yeah.
And then you become the mommy and daddy to that child, to your inner child, and promise it that every day you will bring your inner child out and love it and make it feel safe. So if it's scared of the dark or scared of lack, or scared of the unknown. The biggest fear right now for everybody is that all control is out the window within us and outside of us. As in, spirituality is not about control. It's about allowing. It's about surrendering. It's about awareness. It's about consciousness, and it's about presence, right? So, you know, we have to embrace the wisdom of uncertainty. And so, worry and fear come from the mind. So as soon as we shift into the heart frequency and the gut, as you said, put one hand on the tummy and one hand on the heart, you shift out of the head. When you shift, all fear, the mind is just there to create problems and to feel fear. So you love it because that mind is the same as your wounded child. So you find out what's bothering that child and what happened, and then you say, I'm your mommy and daddy, you're not 5 anymore, and though they may have been bullying you or telling you you're wrong and bad, but you're okay, you're enough. So the biggest thing that we're here on this planet to learn is self-love. And we, every day if everybody goes in front of the mirror when they're brushing their teeth or whenever and say, I love myself, I love you, I love the pimple on my nose, I love even my anger, I accept my darkness as well, it's okay, I love me unconditionally, and saying I'm okay rather than I'm not okay, and I'm enough rather than I'm less than, because everybody's learning a new level of self-love and self-acceptance.
Thank you. That was great. I feel that deeply, and I can also kind of correlate it.
Whatever I'm saying, I'm sending the energies for that for you and the group within free will and the highest good. So it's not like they're definitely getting the energy. If they don't want it, then it's not going to them. It's a choice.
Well, thank you. I definitely want it. So what we'll do now is we'll open it up to anybody that might have some questions for you in our group, or just want to share on how your message related to them. So if anybody has any questions, just feel free to raise your hand. Oh, I see a hand up. Lauren, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me okay? I've got the air conditioner on. I just want to make sure it's not too loud.
Perfect.
Okay, good. So I have a question about working with times when you have competing instincts. Like you know what the right thing to do is, but you think you know what the right thing to do is, but then that like child part kind of wants to take over and run the show, and sometimes the child wins and you feel like it's all messy, and sometimes like the adult part makes a wise choice, but there's a like a tension between the two, and I'm not like, I wonder how to work with that. Like you use the word polarities, and it is a form of polarity, or contradiction.
So what's your name, darling?
Lauren, yeah. Lauren, yes.
Yeah. Hi, Lauren. So, Lauren, you know, every single one of us, the whole point is a battle between the head and the heart. The head and the heart. The heart and the soul and the divine child are one. That's that innocence that goes through the eye of the needle. And the mind, the wounded child, and fear and conflict is this part, right? So if you just simplify it to the wounded child and the divine child, every day make 5-10 minutes to take out your wounded child onto your lap. Put the wounded child on one knee and put the divine child on the other knee, and give them a name each. So if you give your wounded child a name, what name do you give your wounded child? Or you can do it later.
Yeah, I have to sit and meditate.
Yeah, that's fine. So you know, like if my wounded child, for example, is Cindy and my divine child is Rashmi, then I go, Cindy, how are you? And then Cindy initially will maybe be crying or upset or unhappy or angry or just wanting a lot of love and reassurance because they're very scared. So I will give that, and I will promise her that I will stop ignoring her and that she's allowed to feel however she wants to feel, and that I will be her mommy and daddy in a way that my mommy and daddy maybe couldn't be because maybe their mommy and daddy couldn't be. So I'm breaking that ancestral pattern. And as I heal that part, it heals it backwards and forwards in the ancestral line for the past ancestors and the future generations. So it's very beautiful. And then I have Rashmi on the other lap, which is my divine child. She is that wisdom energy, that heart energy, that soul energy, that purity that came into this world and had that original separation from source. We are all source energy that is forgotten and become this individual personality self. Now it's time to go back to being source energy, but at the same time, the personality self is fine as long as it's not in the driver's seat. So in everybody, the wounded child has been in the driver's seat within 3D matrix. Within 4D, the lower astral realms, it's the same thing. But in 5D, which is beyond time and space, which is that divine child, which is the heart soul energy, the high heart soul cosmic energy, that part of you is pure, eternal, has no lack, has no worries, is source energy. So moment to moment, it will access magic. And even if it doesn't, it will accept what is, because you know that you're in a dream, you're in a holographic illusion, and you can enjoy the ride. Or that you cannot learn to not take it so seriously. The mind takes everything very seriously because it believes it as real. So is that helpful? And then you pop the two at one. Then you make them, when you finished with the session, you put them together as a golden light. You open your heart, you pop that golden light in, and you get on with your day. If, you know, eventually what will happen, your wounded child will become so integrated with your divine child that you'll be more and more in your heart soul energy, and your personality self will be very happy to be in the passenger seat. But your heart soul source energy will be in the driver's seat. And as and when there's a trigger and your wounded child overreacts, you can then go back later and say, instead of blaming and shaming someone else and why did that happen, you go, okay, Cindy, like I'll say, Cindy, why did you overreact? I was protecting you, because that's what the wounded child mind does. The mind is there to protect us, because when we were little, we didn't know what to do, so we mimicked our parents and the matrix. So I say, okay, Cindy, but now you have me and I love you, and you can tell me, but you forgot yesterday and you ignored me. So I say, okay, thanks for trying to protect me, Cindy, but we do not need to overreact. Let's do it, let's just maybe get slightly, raise our voice, but not just go completely crazy if somebody's, whatever the thing is. And so then she feels heard and accepted, and those behaviors that we've learned that no longer serve us then start receding.
That's wonderful.
Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you. I love the idea of the divine child. I know about the wounded child, but to think about the counterpart and to think about integrating the two of them, because I always think, oh, it's the child and the adult.
Yeah. This is the heart. This is your heart.
Yes.
This is the heart and this is the mind. So
Yeah.
this is the divine child, and the wounded child is up in the head. But it's also in different parts of your body. It's not just in the head, it's also could be in your tummy, wherever. But when the triggers happen, when the off-balance stuff happens, it's usually the wounded child just reacting because it's trying to protect you, but it's no longer relevant behavior. And so just love it and say, thank you. Now come into the passenger seat and we're going to have a good time. Or we're going to deal with this issue. We're going to get through it because, you know, Source knows it's got it, always got it.
Mm.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Rashmi, and thank you, Lauren. Does anyone have any other questions or want to share anything?
Everybody. This wasn't just for Lauren, so she brought up a beautiful point.
Let's see. I see somebody's hand, I think. Oh, cool. Betty.
How many people have we got there?
Hi, Rash. Oh,
Go ahead.
Hi.
hi, Rashmi. Thank you so much. So do you find working with your ancestors and things that they have gone through in the past, even the ones that you do not know, still affects us in our DNA today?
So your question is, does our ancestry affect us?
Mm.
But how is that relevant? How is your question relevant to your life right now? What's bothering you?
Well, one thing is I found out that I have a biological father that I didn't know about.
Oh, right.
And so it's really all good, and it also brought me to the awareness of why I am where I am, you know, and the things that I've studied. So how that would relate to our spiritual growth or being stunted. Do you feel as...
No, for you, don't generalize this, because this is your you know, it's to do with you right now in this moment. Are you okay with all of this, or is there a part where you're not okay? And if you know, where exactly are you feeling the need for healing or some illumination?
Well, at the beginning, I wasn't okay with it. I found out about a year ago, and I'm older, you know, than anybody that's here, and it was just quite a shock. I'm fine with it. I have worked with it, but I just wanted your take on whether our ancestors have any impressions on us and our journey in this life.
Yes, they do. I mean, you know, we are our ancestors. Everything is one. So, you know, our ancestors live on through us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you see, the answer is paradoxical, because everything is one and it's all in our DNA. But also, we can transcend all of that and let it go as well and come into our source energy. In our source energy, we were never born, we never died, you know, and none of the stories existed. So I would prefer to go directly to that, unless something particular is coming up where I need to heal something vis-a-vis my mother or my grandmother or my brown skin or whatever it might be. Then I will deal with that because it's relevant to, you know, my being Indian or my being British or my whatever. But otherwise, I'm, you know, the main plot point is that you are source.
Mm-hmm.
And that all duality came after that. And so what difference does it make now whether, you know, we are brown or red or black or yellow, whether we are up or down, or, you know, I'm a healer or a teacher or somebody's a fireman. You know, we really have to realize we are none of these things. And that's covered in my book, which is behind you, Buddha Speaks to the Buddha Nature Within, which is Neti Neti. So either we follow the path of I am this and I am that, and that is very difficult path. or we follow the easier path, which is also difficult but much easier, which is neti neti. I am neither this nor that. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
I am not my ancestry, I am not my religion, I am not my country, I am not a teacher, I am not a healer. In other words, disidentification or detachment from all the labels.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that helpful?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there some
A
part
little
there that,
bit. Yeah, I guess there is something there because I started tearing up. No, it was just growing up thinking I was one thing, you know.
yeah. You know, you must be okay with this, and you must, it's every stage of this that you go through is very okay. We chose to be human to go through our emotions, but you don't have to make a 365-day Broadway hit of it. The more you make every emotion as it comes up okay, the quicker you will move through it and come out at the other side, where the time will come very soon, and there's no race, where this will not even be an issue for you. But meanwhile, don't feel bad to feel emotional. That's normal. You're human, and that's beautiful. There's a part of you that's so happy to discover this, and there's a part that's shocked. And
Yeah.
all of it is you. So love that wounded child and forgive them for whatever the story was, but not immediately. First, go through a few emotions and then forgive them and forgive yourself if there's any part where you're feeling you're responsible for this story. And then if it's still not helpful, you can take out that floppy disk and put in the new floppy disk where the pain is the most, which is in your tummy, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel it in my heart and my tummy.
Yeah. So in your tummy and your heart, you take out those floppy disks eventually, when it's time, not now, and put in the new floppy disk where maybe you weren't separated from them, if that's helpful.
Yeah.
These are just different ways you can go. But please you're very beautiful, and you're very loved, and you are source, and you're very wise. And, you know, just call in help of your guides and angels.
I do.
Believe in that. And
I
your
do.
bodhisattvas and Buddha, whoever, you know, they're all aspects of source energy, which is all us. They're not separate from us. And you know, you are loved. You are so loved. And you are so beautiful. And I'm sending you angels and love.
Thank you,
For your
Rashmi.
heart.
Thank you. And thank
For
you,
your heart.
everybody, for letting me let my emotion out. I'm sorry.
That's beautiful. That's so brave. That's so Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you, Betty. That was awesome. And thank you, Rashmi. Does anyone else have any questions or want to share? We got Joe. Joe wants to pop on. Oh, hold on one second. You're muted, Joe. Go ahead. You're good.
All right, this is going to be very different because I'm on multiple
Gizmo.
Yes, with a daughter, this became very difficult. So basically what I want to talk about is more of a story that happened today. So I'm sorry, I have to fix this because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to listen. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yeah.
Hi.
Is that good?
And my battery is going to just 1 second. My battery's on 20%. So can I plug into my battery?
Yeah, go for it. Yes, definitely.
1 sec. So now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. I think I can hear now.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, Rashmi, you're coming in a little choppy now. So hopefully it will settle itself out now that you've stopped moving, but we'll see. Joe, ask your question, bud. You there?
Hold on, I'm sorry, guys. All right, can you all hear me? I apologize, that was a mess. Hi, everybody. So I basically just wanted to talk about something that happened today that relates tremendously to what everybody's really talking about. I had a moment today where something occurred and it got me extremely angry. It threw me into a wash of emotion. It had to do with my car. I recently just left my job, so having a car issue throws into a million emotions about like what am I going to do? Can I pay for this? Am I going to be able to fix this? And I really kind of lost my cool for a little while. And I took this, all of a sudden, this moment of like Ram Dass came to me in a moment and literally just made me realize like, this is a moment of deep learning. And the reason I had my problem was because I procrastinated on something. And that procrastination, I actually came up with a line after it all happened. It said, procrastination's destination is only frustration. Because I procrastinated on fixing one little thing just because the big piece of the problem, which I thought was the big piece of the problem, was fixed. But really the root of the problem, which is a small leak, I know this is a lot of information, but it gives context. The small leak caused a major problem. And I fixed what I thought was the major problem, but I left the small leak. And I procrastinated on it. And then I woke up this morning and went to go start my car and it wouldn't start. So the same thing that I just finished fixing, it cost a lot of money to fix, could possibly be broken again. And I lost my cool. And then all of a sudden I took this moment, my wife helped me out with it. She calmed me down. She said, this is okay. Everything's gonna be okay. It's all okay. No matter what, it's gonna end up being okay. And something clicked, like I'm tripping on the idea that this is gonna kill me somehow. That's how my brain was reacting to it. That I was like gonna lose everything because all of a sudden my car doesn't work. But as soon as I calmed down and realized that it doesn't matter whether it works or not, I realized there was this deep lesson in the fact that I procrastinated on something and I got a result out of it. So my body was just teaching me a lesson. And as soon as I became aware to it, I got like oddly wicked grateful that everything happened the way it happened today. I'm so grateful that I went out to my car and it didn't work today. I'm grateful that I learned this lesson because now I feel like for the first time, I don't think I'll make this procrastination problem like this. I'm not going to have to learn this lesson this way again, because I finally have learned this lesson that I've noticed tracking my life, that this is a commonality. Procrastination has led to something that it could have been something very small to fix, but then got very big. And I fix it, all is good, and then I go about my day, and then something else happens, and the procrastination happens. And then something that was small gets big again. So everything you're saying, Rashmi, just really brings that all home and made me realize that something happened today. A shift happened, an understanding of my divine child and my dark child were both, they met each other. Wounded. That's good that you corrected that, because I know words they're spells. So, but thank you. I just needed to coalesce, I guess, what it is that you said.
That's a beautiful share. That's
Thank
a beautiful share. Exactly. You know, it's very cool for us to make mistakes. Without making mistakes, nobody learns anything. Every master makes mistakes. You know, we have really got to stop this craziness that we've learned from our teachers and ministers and parents of, I'm not okay, I'm not good enough, you know, you did it wrong, you know, did you fail? You know, failure is how we succeed, and it's all perfect, you know, it's all a game, it's all a play, it's all a hologram, it's all a movie. And as you said, you know, you went into so much deep acceptance, and boom, it shifted and taught you something you're never going to forget.
Ever.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Rashmi. This is extremely enlightening. So everything is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you so much.
Check out the book. Check out the books, because they really help as well, you know, because there's so much in there, you know, that can, and you can just pick the books at random and ask a question and you'll get an answer. Hello, my darling. How are you?
So I don't see any. Oh, go ahead. I don't see any other questions at this time. So do you want to leave us with any final words of wisdom before we sign off and maybe do this again down the road?
How long has our show been?
We've been on an hour, a little over an hour.
Right. So is there anything particular you want highlighted or anything?
Just whatever's coming through you.
Yeah. Well, basically, you know, this is 0 point time. It's time. And what does 0 point mean? 0 point means divine neutrality. You can't come to divine neutrality without feeling your feelings and allowing your feelings, but with balance, you know, being present, understanding that nothing bad is happening on the outside. that isn't meant to play out for us to shift our inside. And that each and every human on the planet now, you, me, everybody, no matter high, low, which path on the path, if we're in physical bodies here now, we are all going to become heaven on earth ascended beings, which is what we are. And to do that, we have to clear the stuff. And so everybody's fear is coming up one after the other for us to go to feel, allow, embrace, and come out the other side. Like he just explained so beautifully. Come out the other side, one after the other, after the other, after the other, till there's no fear left. And, you know, and then it's all celebration and joy and fun and sharing and beyond money and beyond limitation and beyond having to get on an aeroplane, because with, you know, teleportation, levitation, multidimensionality, all that is here for us. You know, it's a very exciting time. I mean, are you feeling the excitement as well? Are you feeling the heaven on earth energies?
I feel jacked up. I feel I feel it.
Are you feeling America is going to get through these riots and is going to get through? Are we going to, you know, we're going to come into free money into? I'm putting out for a gold standard, golden age, which I really feel Trump is going to do, and all of us are making this happen. And free energy, which is all here, and you know, an exposure of the media and corporations and corruption, so that we can shift it and that we can also forgive them, because we help to create them. And there is no them. Everything is us ultimately.
Rashmi, before I let you go, do you mind if we ask? I do see somebody with their hand up, and I think it's one of your followers. So I want to get to her before we just jump off. So, Nishani.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Thank you for joining us, by the way. Welcome to our group.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Why
I just wanted to say hi to Rash.
Nishani,
hi, Rash.
your video, darling.
Yes, I'm just trying to enable my video, but it's not allowing me. Unable to access camera.
Yeah?
Okay.
Video, how does she do it?
Bottom left, there's a button that says stop video or start video. If you click that, usually it should allow it.
Yeah, that's what I'm clicking, but it says allow Zoom to access your camera from device menu, settings, privacy camera.
Oh, you don't have a Zoom. Do you have a Zoom app on your phone?
Yeah, I do, but I think it's some privacy setting is not allowing me. But,
okay, all right.
1 second. I just wanted to say hi, Rashmi, and I managed to dial into the meeting at the end. And thank you very much, and love you lots.
I love you. Do you have a quick question? Please share.
No, not particularly, Rashmi. I just wanted to say hello and thank you. Thank you for everything, and thank you. I'm glad I managed to dial into the meeting. Lots of love. Thank you.
Many blessings. Big hugs. Most welcome. Bye-bye.
You too.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. This was a special Saturday meeting, so thank you for everyone who hopped on. Rashmi, we'll have this edited for you. What's that?
I just want to say the books are available on Amazon, and I Got the Film is a documentary that's also available on Amazon and Gaiam TV. And I'm on Facebook with putting multiple things on there, and there are pages for the books and for the film. And on my website, there are lots of other audio shows that people can tap into on different subjects. Yeah, and we can do more shows on specifics if you like.
Awesome.
You know, specific thing like chapter or whatever it is.
So I'm gonna send you the video from this meeting within a couple hours, edited, so that you can share with your folks on Facebook and everything. And
so this wasn't on Facebook Live right now, was it?
It may have been. I wasn't in control of that, so we'll see. But this video from this meeting will be on your Facebook in a couple hours.
Okay, so I'm sending everybody a lot of love and a lot of energy of the heart and healing. Let's just take a deep breath and all chant Om together, connecting to the heart and connecting to the grounded heart with the centering to the center of Mother Earth and opening up to the heavenly energy. Breathe in deep. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace within, peace without, peace to all beings everywhere. So much love.